Namaste. Question 1. Why do people commit sinful deeds and suffer thereafter? Question 2. Why should Krishna even allow such sins to take place? Question 3. How do we stay away from committing wrongful deeds? Please explain in detail. Question 1. Why do people commit sinful deeds and suffer thereafter? To understand this question, it is first necessary to clearly understand the God concept in Vedanta. Krishna is not a theistic being separate from nature residing elsewhere. He is the personification of the eternal, timeless, beginningless self and all-pervading principle known as Brahman. One who does not grasp this at the beginning of their quest will only find themselves spinning in circles of beliefs, fears, guilt, and other such personality-destroying factors. This point is crucial for the seeker so that the Shlokas in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita are understood in their true metaphorical sense. The main natural law on which all others rest is that of cause and effect, or karma. Existence is a cyclical continuum with no real beginnings or ends. Every stage is both the effect of the previous one and the cause of the next. Internalizing Krishna's teaching that it is your own karma, your own inherent nature, and your own attitude that shape everything in your life can free you from the sense of victimhood. Otherwise, you may imagine that an unkind god, bad planets, curses, black magic, or mere bad luck cause the difficulties in your life. Remember cause and effect, and you will overcome the destructive feeling of being a victim. Take responsibility and you will feel empowered, realizing that only you can bring change into your life. In summary, the answer to question number 1 is this. People act sinfully because of their own karmic nature and attitudes. It is not the self, which is Brahman or Krishna, that sins, but the ignorance and conditioning of the individual, which is nothing more than a body-mind complex that leads to wrong action and suffering. Question 2. Why should Krishna even allow such sins to take place? This leads us to the question of why sins are permitted at all. How karma is transported between janmas or lifetimes is briefly explained in Shloka 8 of the 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. When the soul, which is the master, acquires a body, it takes the mind and the 5 senses from the body it has left, just as the wind takes different odors along with it. Now, let us understand the core philosophy behind the shloka. At the outset, the seeker needs to make sure that this shloka, like others, although fascinating, should not be taken literally. There is no thing called soul which leaves one body and enters a new body, especially as the ones shown in some Indian feature films. What is carried forward from the physical life of an individual are karmic tendencies, impressions, and the force of cause and effect transmitted through genetics or social interaction. Consider the pot analogy used in the study of Vedanta. When a pot breaks, the space within it does not move anywhere. It was never separate from the space outside, because space, or sky, is all-pervading. In the same way, the self never travels. It is always one and the same, all-pervading. What seems to continue is only the play of thought patterns together with identification with the body, likes and dislikes. These, expressed through the 3 gunas in different proportions, create the karmic imprint that manifests in a new body and mind. Similarly, the ocean analogy clarifies this point. The wave is only the ocean itself. We call it a wave, but it is never separate from the ocean. When the wave collapses, it merges back into the ocean, and soon another wave arises. Once again, nothing but the ocean in a new form. Likewise, the self never goes anywhere. It is ever the same, all-pervading. What continues is only the karmic flow taking shape again as a new body and mind. Pain and pleasure are not punishments or rewards given by a tyrannical entity called God. They are part of the process of learning and self-development. Just as gold goes through many processes from extraction in the mines to refinement and finally becoming fine jewelry, so too does the Jivatma, which refers to the illusion of individuality arising from ignorance. It is not a separate entity, but a misidentified projection of the one reality, which is the same all-pervading Paramatma. People broadly believe that this Jivatma passes through thousands of janmas in its karmic evolution until it becomes fit to realize Brahman and end the cycle of manifestations in perishable bodies that go through birth and death. Please pay close attention to the Shlokas I quote, because they are not only support for my explanation, they are themselves the source of Vedanta. In Shloka 336 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna, "What prompts a man to perform sinful deeds, O Krishna? Why does he commit such acts even without desiring to do them, as if he were forced?" Krishna replies, "Lust and anger are born out of the material nature called Rajoguna. They are insatiable and push man to commit sin. Know them to be the greatest enemy in a man's spiritual life. Just as fire is covered by smoke, a mirror by dust, and a fetus by the womb, so too is wisdom covered by this permanent enemy in the form of lust. It is like a fire that cannot be satisfied." In summary, the answer to question 2 is this: Krishna does not quote-unquote allow or approve sin. What operates is the law of karma. His all-pervading presence ensures continuity, but it is ignorance, lust and anger born of Rajoguna that compel actions, not divine permission. Question 3. How do we stay away from committing wrongful deeds? Now we move to the practical question. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita 1861, Krishna says, "The Supreme Bhagavan dwells in the hearts of all beings, Arjuna, and in accordance with their respective karma, he directs the wanderings of all beings by his Maya, as if they were mounted on a machine." A person's inherent nature stems from genetic factors, upbringing, education, life's experiences, and other such influences that build general perception and reaction. The most important point here is that every person still has the choice either to act or not to act, to speak or remain silent. And for that one needs knowledge. The choice is always there. Therefore, it would be prudent to think, speak, and act wisely. In Shlokas 1851 to 53, Krishna says, "The one with a pure intellect, who controls his mind with determination, gives up attachment and hatred, relinquishes sense objects beginning with sound, takes to solitude, reduces food to what is necessary, has speech, body, and mind completely under control, keeps the mind always engaged in concentration and meditation, takes refuge in dispassion, abandons egoism, false pride, violence, lust, anger, and possessiveness, and becomes peaceful, is fit to attain Brahman, or the ultimate state of consciousness, or Brahman Nirvana." In Shloka 1863, Krishna says to Arjuna, "I have taught you the secret wisdom which is deeper than all that is confidential and profound. Reflect fully on what I have declared to you and do what you wish to do." Here is a practical step you can take before saying something or performing any action. It can help you avoid unnecessary karma and also settle past karma. Ask yourself these 2 questions, which are the first 2 of the 4 Cartesian questions. Question A. What would happen if I said or did this? Question B. What would happen if I did not say or do this? By asking these questions, although your samskaras or inherent traits might push you to think or act in a certain way, clarity will prevail, and you will make the choice that is most beneficial to your life and your karmic evolution. In Shloka 327, Krishna says, all actions are done by the three gunas or qualities of nature, but he whose mind is deluded by false ego and arrogance says to himself, I am the doer. This means that the basic nature of a person shapes their actions and speech. If one works on refining that inherent nature and infusing it with knowledge and noble thoughts, it becomes easier to avoid karma attracting unrighteous acts. Therefore, despite karmic tendencies that might appear to compel someone towards inappropriate action, the choice of acting, refraining from acting, or performing righteous action always rests with that person. The appropriateness of the choice depends on how calm, balanced, free from emotion, and virtuous the mind is. In Shloka 264, Krishna says, the person who controls his senses, even while being among sense objects, is free from both attachment and aversion. Such a person attains serenity of mind and intellect. Master the art of mind management, and the world will be yours. In summary, the answer to question 3 is this. Through knowledge, reflection, and discipline, a person can master their mind, refine their nature, and act righteously despite karmic tendencies. If you have not already done so, please read and study the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Please feel free to make use of the Gita resources I offer. Thank you. Stay blessed. Jai Shri Krishna.